Take one. Clap.
Behind every sash, there's a story.
The wins, the near misses,
The looks, the decisions.
and everything you didn't see on the day.
This is Chasing the Sash.
The story behind the sash.
Let's call it like it is.
Welcome all. We are so excited to have our very first guest. And this girl is one of our It Girls. We are welcoming Brooke Strahan to the show, and we cannot wait to hear all about her and see her incredible journey. Let's take a look at this. We are so happy to have you on the show as our very, very, very first guest. And let's start off with, how did you get into fashions on the field?
Well, for me, I don't have an absolute answer because it was one of those things where I had attended a few race days, during my early adulthood. Never got involved in fashions on the field. But I always loved fashion, always have. And I've always loved hats as well. Like, I started wearing hats when I was quite young and just loved them, and always gravitated towards them. Always wanted to have a different hat on, and would be stealing my grandmother's hats, etc. Which were
I
gorgeous.
approve. I definitely approve.
Which were gorgeous. And it wasn't until literally my early 30s, when I was in Victoria, that I attended my local racetrack, which was like Yarra Valley at the time, which is a beautiful, beautiful track, lovely area, and decided to go into the fashions on the field. And I wore quite a simple dress. I think it was a Gorman dress, which is a Melbourne brand, Australian Melbourne brand, and a vintage hat. Because that's what,
Yeah.
there was a vintage hat, but I got runner-up in the fashions on the field.
And you thought, how good is this?
Fabulous.
And as it happens, something just went, well, I love fashion. And, I was like, oh, well, this kind of combines like my love of fashion and creativity and style and hats. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying the day. It's a nice day out, lots of people, different people. And it just went from there.
You have to say you've had so many different looks over the years. Like, I have known you for a very long time. And my earliest memory of you is you were in very much a uniform. You really went at one stage into, you were wearing your medals and very military look. That was probably one of the very first times that I think we actually started talking. And I've watched you develop into so many different looks. You can't say that you are just a certain style. You've changed. How would you say, you like, from where you started to how you think now, going to the races, that you've developed in your fashion style?
I've definitely developed, but I always try and keep very true to myself with what, I choose, or what I help design, or what I'm in collaboration with, or what I just pick. And I do keep in mind, some of the trends and the fashions, etc. Of course, I do have that in the back of my head. But for me, it's always about staying true to myself. And given what the situation allows, like a lot of the times when I first started, yes, I had some nice kind of little bit higher fashion pieces, but a lot of it was thrifted. A lot of it was vintage.
Mm.
Which I still really appreciate and I'm really for, because I am one of those girls who will rewear.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes it's literally 10 years later. An example of that is at Melbourne Cup Day at Canberra. So last year I won the Fashions on the Field at Thoroughbred Park on Melbourne Cup Day with not the hat, but the dress that I've had for over 10 years. And
Yeah.
I hadn't worn that outfit in 10 years. Yet I wore that dress, different hat, different accessories, and I won. And so I'm really for that. It's not a
Mm.
continuous wearing of the outfit, but that's a classic look. That's something that I like. I'll put it
Mm.
back there and I'll bring it back out, when I'm ready. But I'll also incorporate, new pieces and things which might be a little bit more on trend or fashionable or more just to my styling at the time. As I'm getting older, I'm leaning more towards bespoke pieces, custom
Mm.
pieces, things which are quite, not run of the mill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that beautiful blue outfit that we've just seen. I have to admit, that's probably one of my all-time favorites. Love it.
Yeah, I that print for me just did it when I got shown the material. I was like, yes, yes,
Yay!
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it
Yeah.
because um I, a lot of people know this. I'm not a hugely girly girl, even though I love femininity. I think a lot of because of my background, there's a little bit of tomboy like still coming through for me. Because I've always worked like with man and in those types of male dominated areas. Um, and so a lot of my style is not ultra feminine. Like it's rare will see me in florals every now and then, but it's
Mm.
quite rare. I tend to lean more towards plain, or abstract
Yeah.
prints, artistic prints, because
You love
I am an
art.
artist myself.
Yes.
So anything that's artistic, abstract, watercolorish, simulating those paint strokes, I love. Maybe a little bit of digital print. And I know, though, that you had in your podcast about tartan. I love
I
tartan.
know you do. I
love
know that from
and
you very
and
much
I
so.
am a strawn, and we have our own tartan. We have the
Yeah.
strawn tartan. I'm Celtic background. I lean towards tartans. I just love them. I lean towards plaids and checks, and for autumn winter. Just
Yeah.
that's something that I just adore. Yeah. So for me, it's not that I don't appreciate floral, and
It's
because
just
so
not
many people look
really your
wonderful
style.
in floral. But for me, I'm just that little bit off to the side of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that's creating
Um,
your own sort of strong representation of yourself, and that's what you have to believe in. It's like, no, that girly pink is not going to work for me, but I'm going to be absolutely fabulous in bright orange or whatever it is.
Mm.
And
Mm.
it's believing in yourself. But takes time to actually build up to that point when you think about where you start and what you're creating and showing now.
Mm. Mm.
Definitely. I'd love to hear about all the different people that you've collaborated with, because you actually have had quite a few, which has been so exciting watching your journey. I have to admit, Athena Lynn, who you're with now, oh my goodness, those outfits. She's very creative. But you've had to tone her down a fraction, haven't you? Because I remember seeing her originally, and she is very, very creative, but some of them were just totally over the top. And you've come in and you just let her go, but you've toned her right down to totally be you. And wow, has that worked?
Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, no, Athena is a genius. Like
Mm.
she absolutely is a creative and design genius. Um, her mind is just going all the time, and Neil could probably, relate to this, just this continuous creative,
Absolutely.
yeah, this, that, bigger, better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
and
worked with Alina when she first started,
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah.
it's just wonderful watching what she's creating these days.
You team up with BB Millinery for your millinery, don't you? Yeah.
yeah,
So Athena makes your
certainly.
outfits, and then you go back to
Yeah,
Beck. Yeah.
certainly of the last few years, I certainly have. I got introduced to Beck a few years ago, and from BB Millinery, and yeah, she's just wonderful. Like Athena, the attention to detail is exquisite.
Agreed.
You know, she just 1,000%, dedicated to the piece. And listens to her clients, on what they want, but also she will also, guide and give her, opinion as well. If she thinks something might not work, and give different options. She presents different options to me because, me being an artist, etc., I will often draw and say this, that, and sometimes she'll come back and go, what about this? What about that? And I'm like, oh, no, that's better.
I'm glad you're working with Beck. She's so lovely. She's such a gorgeous girl, and as you say, bounces off a client, and that's the important thing that I think when we're working with another creative person, that the two of us together can create even more wonderfulness.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an honor, like working with Beck and with Athena. Yeah, and those two as well. Like they will chat as well. Like if I've got the design for the dress, and Beck's going to make the hat. Athena will often send her a sample of the material so she knows like the color, so she can match, and
absolutely essential, because visually what you're wanting to happen when you walk on stage is that you look like everything that you're wearing came out of the same box. So so everything works together, and that's for you, not for Athena and not for Beck to set up. You have to work with fabulous creatives, but then the creative that you put on top of that is to pull that all together. And you're not bad at it, my darling.
She does a great job.
Oh, thank you.
So, Brooke, you've won so many sashes. Let's talk about all these sashes. I'm sure in your huge box of sashes, you've got a favorite. I'm sure everyone would love to know what that is and where you won that from.
Okay, so I just
pull it out.
Show
us how many sashes, my
dear.
Are we up to numerous boxes?
All, but I've got quite a few in hat boxes actually, but I don't.
That's called showing off, but I quite approve.
Yeah.
There's one box, and
oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
Here's another lot, but then I said I've got a few in hat boxes. I've probably got about another 6 in hat boxes, I think, of like late. But this of course has to be my favorite. So,
yeah, that was a good win there. Congratulations again for that one.
This one
sorry.
So this was from 2014, where it was such a shock because I had literally I'd only attended and competed in 3 fashions on the field.
Wow.
3 fashions on the field. And then I went to Hobart with my friend for a girls' weekend.
Pack 13 hats, 27 outfits, and 17 pairs of shoes.
No, I wore a dress that I used to wear to work.
No.
Oh, wow.
And what about how did you do that?
That hat was my first custom-made hat. So what had happened was that I'd bought a hat off the rack, like, in a shop, but it was exquisite, and it was by Sophie Allport, who wasn't really well known back then.
Oh, she is with us. She started out with us.
Yeah. Back then she wasn't so well known, but she happened to have some hats in a store. And I went in there and I went, wow, that's a really, because I, always loved hats. I was like, that's really interesting hat. And I bought one of her hats and I won a Fashions on the Field in it. And then when I knew that I was going to Hobart with my friend, I thought maybe I'll see if she can make me a piece. And I remember being so nervous, like contacting her. I was so nervous contacting her saying, I've got one of your hats that I bought and I'm going to Hobart Cup. Do you think you could make me a piece? I've got an idea. And, because I had a design in mind. And she said, yes, of course I can, send me through what you're thinking. And she created the piece for me. And I remember that I didn't even want any detail on it. It was just going to be structural and just a couple of different block colors. And that was it. And she contacted me and said, Brooke, I know you don't really like flowers.
We all have trouble with you girls as far as that's concerned.
But I feel like it needs roses or orchids on it just to give it a little bit of something. And I said, oh, roses is too girly for me. I can't do roses. I'll do maybe the orchids. And so she put a few leather, and it was in leather. And at that time, leather wasn't being used, and it was a transseasonal because it was actually still spring. And, but it was seen as still a transseasonal, material. And she made these leather orchids that sat across the piece. And it wasn't over the top. And I said, no, that's okay. I can manage that.
How generous of you, my darling. How very generous.
It's not too much. Yeah. And then I ended up winning the Hobart Cup, which at the time gave me the sash to then proceed as a Tasmanian finalist for the national title.
Fantastic.
Bravo,
So you
my
didn't have to
darling.
wear the same outfit, did you? It was
No,
a different
I did.
Oh, you did. You had to wear the same outfit.
I wore other outfits during the other days. During the other days,
Right.
we were there just, media and, watching the other girls compete because we were there at Melbourne Cup. So you're watching Derby Day, you're watching Melbourne Cup Day, and you're watching Oaks Day. And then after the Oaks Day Victorian competition, then all the national finalists would come on stage with the newly Sash Victorian finalist.
Oh, yeah.
Literally getting Sash, and they put on stage with us who have, known for a long time. And then they choose, who they choose.
Do you have the photo of that? Oh, okay, this one. Yes.
Yeah, I've got a little book here that was made. Here we go.
So just explain to everyone that book is actually your whole week.
Yeah, it was my week, my whole journey. So this was a lovely book made by my boyfriend at the time. Just to I guess commemorate, like for me to remember during that time. So that's my Sophie Allport headpiece there. So it was a collaboration between her and I. So I had kind of like the shape. I knew what shape and colors, etc. I wanted. And as I said, Sophie said, no, it's too plain. I recommend adding some embellishment.
Yeah, imagine your milliner actually having an opinion and being opinionated about it.
And it was just such a simple look. I think at the time it was Angela from On Track on Trend. I think at the time she said words to the effect of it was the most understated yet something, and it was positive, look in recent years. But it was really positive because it was so simple, if that made sense.
Yep.
Like it was a clean.
Well, then what you're
Clean
creating,
lines.
the image is something that everyone can see very easily and is very strong. And it's, it's a game to try and actually make that sit exactly the right way. But obviously, you did it beautifully, my dear.
Thank
And
you.
was that your favorite outfit in the book, or did you love making some other pieces and adding them to the week?
Favorite, but I like here. So this is what I'm saying about like re-wearing and reusing. So if you look here, so this is going back to 2014, and that was on Oaks Day. So I'm not competing, but I had to be there,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yep.
and I went into, the bird
Maya,
cage,
the bird
Maya
cage,
Marquee.
yes.
I was with Jennifer Hawkins, so I had to look, I had to look the part. And anyway, if you have a look, this hat is the hat that I wore at Menangle last year where I won. So that's how old that
Oh,
hat is.
Now, that's a very bad idea. You know that. See, hats have got this thing called built-in obsolescence. What you do is you buy the hat, it's gorgeous, you wear it, then you burn it and come back and buy another one. They're the rules. I'm sorry, all the milliners were there together. We decided that was a
Yeah.
perfectly good rule. Trust me, I'm a man. Would a man never lie?
Most people who know me know that I don't play by the rules. I just love millinery, so I will keep it until it's literally falling apart.
I know. I'm the
Oh,
same.
you're a bad girl.
Well, Neil, I've got your very first piece it wasn't my first piece, but one of your early pieces. So yeah, I don't throw mine out either.
No, I know. None of you girls do.
Well, not a Neil piece anyway. I keep all my Neils.
Oh, I love you.
You've been both sides because you've judged. Well, we know you win, and you're definitely amazing at fashion on the field. You've judged, you've emceed. Anything in particular you enjoy the most?
I really, really like judging, and most judges don't. But for me, I actually really enjoy it. I love not having that pressure or pressure of a different type, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love, because I love fashion so much and styling, I love just seeing, the outfits on display and just being able to look at them with like, yes.
And
it's,
bouncing off the other
Yeah.
judges,
it's
I
so-
find,
yeah,
is such a joy because you've got your particular view, but X and Y on this side are bouncing in a different direction.
mm,
And that can be just such a an extra joy in looking at the fabulous fashion that
Well,
the girls are
actually,
showing
it's
off.
funny you should say that because Brooke was actually on the judging panel. We could probably talk about this when it was quite
mm,
controversial, because the other judges, it was all the numbers. So you were there. You can probably give us the real story of what happened. Do you remember in Scone?
yeah.
And we went by, and you guys were going to write your numbers down. You weren't allowed to talk to the other judges, and then came out the number, and it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was very interesting, wasn't it?
Even though it was controversial, I personally didn't have a problem with that because that is how Maya,
Yeah,
because I had judged for Maya.
Yes.
So as the national finalist for Hobart, I got called back the next year by Maya, and I sat on the judging panel the following years, and that is how it was judged at Scone. Like,
numbers didn't
it is
talk, and you just added up.
purely numbers, and I just do what that I was just told this is what you needed to do.
Yep.
You needed to put down your top ones, write down their numbers, and then somebody came and just took away our numbers, and then they obviously just added
them
them up, and then they were the ones.
Gave it to me, and it was like,
They were
okay.
the ones.
Yeah.
And that at Scone I was told that's how it was going to be done. So I didn't question it. But obviously different, across the board there's been all different ways of judging. Some, can fully converse, some write down their numbers and then have a little bit of oh, yours is slightly different or whatever, have a little, talk. But others kind of just don't write down any numbers and just talk to each other.
But
no,
I mean,
I like
really,
to
it is
write.
that.
I like writing.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I
Neil.
think,
But it really is interesting to actually bounce off the other judges, I find. Because, somebody will be going, but it's absolutely gorgeous. I said, that is the worst hat in the world. So doesn't work.
No, but I think it is good to start off to write it down so you have a clear idea on
It's
what
true. Yes.
each person likes, and then talk.
Yes,
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I like that way of writing it down. So you're like, these are my preferences, and then you
Correct.
can compare.
Yeah.
If there is a difference, because often there's not. Often,
true.
Yeah.
it's like it's pretty much the same, and it's like, all right, that's a clear winner and it's a clear runner up. Yeah, but if there is a distinct difference, it's like, oh, why? What are you seeing that I'm not seeing?
Yes.
You know, what is it? You know, what? Because we are so different, and I always say to everyone, you know, art is subjective, and fashion is art, and therefore fashion is subjective. So what
Yes.
I like, and you know, and what I lean towards may not always be what you lean towards. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You know,
I
yeah.
absolutely agree. That's
Yeah,
why I
yeah.
like write down, then discuss.
I like the point of, you know, fashion is subjective, because I'm always reinforcing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, we say that all the time. It's a judge's decision.
Totally fabulous. Love everything you've done. And excellent choice of collaborators to create beautiful, beautiful ideas. You've been competing for a long, long time and loving it all. Now, I'm not being rude. I'm just saying that she is a bloody good competitor. Now, why keep going back? You've got a pile of sashes there. You just settle back in the armchair and look smug. What's happening?
Well, for me, I'm on a farm, and I have been for a number of years. I was on a different farm in northeast Victoria, and now I'm in my farm here in New South Wales, and I don't get a chance to dress up. No, even to go to work, because I work from home, so I farm,
Yes.
and I'm a professional author, and I illustrate a little bit as well, and content create, and there's basically zero chance for me to, you know, to really,
So
you know.
jeans and a t-shirt most of the time,
Yeah,
and
if I'm lucky, most of the times it's muddy overalls, like, realistically. Yeah, so, you know, for me, because I love fashion so much, it's like my one chance, you know, to go to an event, have a nice day out, have some social interaction.
but also dress up and enjoy that beautiful fashion that you've been chasing and being sort of drowned in for years and years. And it's such a lovely contrast to the farm life, and it's like, but look what I can do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, and for me, I love still getting up on stage and competing, but it doesn't, that doesn't bother me. Certainly, you know, I've been doing it for that
Yeah.
long. It doesn't worry me if I get a sash. Then, oh, that's beautiful, that's lovely. But it's just like, I just want to go out and, you know, wear beautiful clothing and beautiful hats and make myself, you know, feel nice. That's all.
Well, thank you very, very much for spending so much time with us. It's just been lovely, and it's been lovely seeing you, but then talking with you today has been just a joy. It really has.
So, Brooke, we've really enjoyed your story. This is what this show's all about. It's really getting behind and hearing stories like yours and letting everyone know what is behind the sash. So thank you so much for joining us.
That's all from us this week. We hope you loved it, sharing the passion for fashion, and we can't wait to see more.
And that's all from us this week. We've spilled the tea, celebrated the looks, and we love being part of this community.